party peeps. Oh, the light's so bright behind me. So I've been chatting. This is a theme popping up in a lot of my messages right now about people struggling with anxiety and depression. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like so many people feel this like shame goblin around it. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to. And if you are watching my videos, well, then you vibe with me. And so you're going to be, maybe you need to hear what I have to say. So I struggled with depression when I was a teenager, which I think is really common. You know, hormones, life. I didn't feel like I didn't fit in anywhere. I was the girl, hey Sally, I was the girl that so I transferred schools. I went to a really small private school, from like first grade all the way through, I went to the high school through my sophomore year, which is where I met Marshall. And then I wound up switching over to a giant public school. And in the small private school, it's like, you know, class of 30, and you get labeled early on. And you're just that person, you know, like, oh, she's the shy one, or she's the extroverted one, or she's the cool one, or she's the weird one. People get these labels, and that's probably true with most things, but it was really hard to reinvent yourself. And I really struggled with that. So I went inward, because that's what I do. Like whenever I'm stressed or in pain or sad, I'm not so much of a like, bleh. I want everyone to know. I don't like to feel the feeling. So I used to really go inside. And so I really struggled with depression a lot as a teenager. And I actually got married super young. So I got married super young, and everything changed. I went from Seattle to like living in my bubble, right, to living in San Diego and being married to a Marine, and life was completely out of my control, and I didn't have any friends, and we weren't living in base housing. So those of you who are in base housing, I know that you grumble about it, but there's a community there that you should be super grateful to have, because we didn't have that. In retrospect, you know, like I wish that hadn't been an option for us, because we were living in these apartments, and I would actually this is the saddest story ever, I would put up signs in the laundry room that I was lonely and looking for a friend. WTF, like whatever, like it breaks my heart now, like, and no one replied, and I don't know what was wrong with my husband's unit. Like, why wouldn't there be some kind of like, hey, my wife is lonely, like, let's connect her with other wives. I don't know. I was way more crazy back then. And so I was on antidepressants. I was on antidepressants for years when we were together. But here's the deal. So I'm totally pro antidepressants as long as you're pairing it with, you're doing the work to fix it, because an antidepressant, like medication, doesn't fix jack shit. It just masks stuff, right? And so if you're taking an antidepressant, or you're taking something for anxiety, or I don't know, social disorder, I don't know, whatever, like that's fine. There's no shame in that. You shouldn't be embarrassed or like feel that that's a sign of weakness, as long as you're doing the back behind the scenes work, like working with a therapist or listening to stuff that inspires you and builds you up, reprogramming what your self-talk is. Because if you're not doing that, the medication isn't going to do jack shit. And so when he was in the Marine Corps, I was going to Balboa Hospital, and they legit wanted to give me shock therapy. Like, I don't remember being so depressed I needed shock therapy. I don't know. I also got a pelvic exam every time I went in for something, so I think I was some kind of guinea pig. But I didn't get the shock therapy, thank baby Jesus. But I was on antidepressants for a really long time, and I was just chatting with one of you amazing peeps about how you might be going back on it, and I'm like, there's no shame in that, because sometimes your brain and your heart just needs that help to deal with all the feelings, and to be able to like talk to a therapist and use all those other secondary therapies to help you get to a place that you need to get to. So I don't think there's any like shame or like embarrassment around that. Working with a therapist, you know, using different holistic stuff like essential oils and all those things are all tools in your tool chest. And so I believe, like, why wouldn't you want to use more? However, I have people in my life who've been popping antidepressants like they're orange Tic Tacs, and they expect things to magically change their lives, and that doesn't work. You have to add in, it's so layered, right? Like, you got to be working on moving your body, and you have to change your self-talk, and you have to change your circle. Like, you have to surround yourself with other people that inspire you, not just like play little fiddles about how sad everything is, because otherwise you're going to stay exactly where you are. This morning on my walk, I was listening to this guy, Jake Ducey, who I really like. I'm totally digging Jake Ducey right now. You can find him on YouTube. He does all these videos on the law of attraction, and it just really resonates with me. Like, I like his spin on it. But he was talking today about how your life is a direct reflection of your self-chatter. And we all grow up with like certain filters. Like, we see things through our parents' eyes, or maybe a teacher says something and they stutter at us if we have a stuttering problem, or, you know, your parents are obsessed about not having enough money. Well, those become you. That's what happens. Like, as parents, we shape our kids, and you try not to screw them up, but we all do at some point. Like, I know I do something where I'm like, oh shit, she's going to need therapy for that. But I'm doing the best I can. So this isn't like a, you know, shame, judgment thing. It's just, we're all programmed certain ways. And so if it's not working for you, if you're the person that, you know, you get money and then suddenly everything, your whole world collapses, and now you have to spend all that money. Like, there's never enough money, or, you know, there's always like bad things happening in your house, or your kids are always freaking like sick. Well, maybe you should look at what energy you're focusing on, and you need to start to change your self-talk. You need to change your self-chatter. Your exterior life and everything that comes into it is a direct reflection of how you view yourself, and whatever that inner dialogue is, like, well, you know, I can never get ahead, or it's always hard for me to make friends, or I have a really bad memory, or I'm always running late. That's just who I am. That's not who you are. That's what you're allowing yourself to be. And so I'm not saying all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, I'm abundant and I'm blessed and I'm always on time, and suddenly your whole life is going to be magically delicious. Like, this isn't a box of freaking Lucky Charms. You have to do the hard work. So if you're struggling with anxiety and depression, there ain't no shame in getting medication for it, as long as you're doing that background work. You're working on changing your self-talk, and you're surrounding yourself with other people, and you are sweating every single day. Because I know that when you're depressed and you're super sad and maybe you want to hurt yourself, you don't want to take action and put out effort into changing your life. But it is so critical to show up the most on the days you don't want to. The days you don't want to are the days that matter the most. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is what we preach in the tribe all the time. It's not about perfection. It's just about progress. And so you apply that 5-minute rule to, I'm going to show up to my journey today. I'm going to move my body for 5 minutes. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, if I don't want to move it anymore, well, I'm not going to beat myself up and berate myself. I'm such a loser. I can never follow through with my program. Oh, I'm a fatty. Here we go. I'm never going to lose the weight. No, you don't go down that road. Otherwise, that is the track you will stay on. Instead, you're going to say, you know what? I did the best I could, and I'm so proud of myself that I showed up today and that I moved my body and I got sweaty or whatever. Like, you have to find the joy in the journey. And I know when it's really dark and when it's really hard, it's so hard. But you pick your hard, right? You pick your hard. You pick your hard. So it's hard to feel shitty. It's hard to feel anxious. It's hard to feel sad. It's hard to take action. It's hard to change yourself. It's hard to get uncomfortable. It's hard to make that appointment and see a therapist. It's hard to like bare your guts, right? Because, oh my God, this is how I feel about myself. How will they judge me? What will they think? Who freaking cares what other people think? Their opinions are none of your business, and their opinions aren't going to pay your bills. And this is your life. This is your one shot at life, and you're doing everyone in your life a disservice if you don't work on becoming better every single day. Every day doesn't have to be a freaking like epic, amazing rock star moment, but it's your journey. It's your journey. So do your yoga, tell yourself your truths, even if they don't feel like your truths. That's why I love affirmations. Even if it feels like the most hokey, fake business ever, I do it every single day. I say, first I do my gratitude. That's another huge tip. Like, if you're feeling super stuck and super sad, what are you grateful for? You cannot be grateful and sad and depressed and angry at the same time. It's just impossible. So what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for tampons. I'm grateful for toilet paper. I'm grateful for cat litter. See, it doesn't have to be epic and amazing. I'm grateful for the vasectomy. That's right. Be grateful. Start focusing on all the things that are going right in your life. Be grateful for all the things that are abundant and good, and for friends, and for hearing the messages you need to hear. So focus on your gratitude journey first and foremost every single day. Put on that oxygen mask. I am grateful for this. I am grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for filtered water. I'm grateful for Ice Cube. If you saw my gratitude list every single morning, you'd be like, wow, really? Yeah. It's the simple things. It's not the like huge, like I'm grateful for the northern border move. Like, yeah, that's amazing. But I'm grateful for the every single little things. I'm grateful for the pile of laundry that is clean, that I get to fold. I'm grateful that I have little humans that make messes in my house. See, I could be focusing on the mess. I could be focusing on all the to-dos and how there's not enough of me, or I can shift my perspective and shine the light on the good things. Because when you start to focus on the good, it just naturally starts to multiply. When you focus on the bad, it starts to multiply. So what do you want to multiply in your life? The good, the bad? It's your choice, right? So gratitude practice, the power of I am, everything you say about yourself, it really does matter. So even saying like, I got a message yesterday, I'm not perfect. Talking to one of my truth tellers messaged me. She's like, you keep saying that about yourself. Is that really what you want to continue to like percolate in? And do you want to keep saying how you feel overwhelmed and things are hard and you feel frustrated? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, law of attraction, that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're going to attract more of that into your life. And I was like, point taken, convicted. So I am the driver of my bus, and I'm grateful for today, and I'm choosing to find the joy in my journey. And I'm grateful that I have so many things that I can take care of. And I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for Courtney, my amazing friend in my pocket who I've never met in real life. But I love you. I love your face. So there's no shame in getting therapy. Please get therapy. If you've not gotten therapy yet, get freaking therapy. If I could get a therapy punch card, I would. I love therapy. It's amazing. There's no I don't know where the stigma comes from. I think if you haven't gotten therapy, there's something wrong. You're missing out. Because we can all use therapy. So, Eager Beaver with a therapy over here. It's your journey. It's your life. Own it. Don't be a freaking victim. And it's not an indication of weakness or, lack, or you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or you can't overcome shit because you're sad and because you're struggling with anxiety or fear or depression or whatever. That doesn't show weakness. It just shows that you are in touch with your feelings, and now it's time for you to take some action to change things. And so sometimes you need help outside of your scope. A lot of times we need help outside of our circle. Truth. So just my 2 cents. That's that. All right, friends. So make the rest of today awesome. If you haven't gotten sweaty yet, move your body 5 minutes. Show up to your journey. It's your journey. No one else's. And celebrate that, honor it, be excited that you get a chance to do life today. And it might not be perfect, and it might be really freaking messy and really freaking hard, but like my therapist told me, you have to be open to feeling all the feelings. If you say you don't want to feel the messy and perfect feelings, well then you're gonna be willing to not feel all the good feelings. To feel all the good feelings, you have to feel the hard feelings, the uncomfortable feelings, the sad feelings. Those are what make the good feelings so sparkly and amazing. And so don't live a gray life. Be okay with feeling your feelings. I hate feeling my feelings. That's a work in progress, but it's something that I've been doing, and it's definitely not a pro at it. I'm still working on it, but I want to feel the epic sparkly feelings. So that means some days I have to feel the less than perfect, dark, icky feelings. And it's okay. It's not forever. So wherever you're at in your journey, it's not forever. Your life matters. You were meant for greatness. Show up to it. And don't be afraid to ask for help.